When you think of a fallen empire, you probably picture a slow, drawn-out decline. A massive state, buckling under its own weight, gradually crumbling over centuries from overexpansion. But the story of the Assyrian Empire, one of history's most formidable and feared superpowers, shatters that cliché. Their end wasn't a gentle decay. It was a swift, catastrophic collapse, a house of cards kicked over in a storm. The first domino fell in 631 BCE, with the death of the empire's last great king, Ashurbanipal. What should have been a stable transfer of power instead ignited a brutal civil war. His successors tore the empire apart from the inside, fighting for a throne that was rapidly losing its value. This internal chaos paralyzed the state, making it dangerously vulnerable. But this political crisis wasn't happening in a vacuum. An invisible enemy was already strangling the empire. For 60 years, a devastating megadrought had gripped the Assyrian heartland. Paleoclimatologists have found evidence of this in ancient cave formations, revealing a period of profound aridification. This wasn't just a dry spell, it was a climate catastrophe.
Agriculture, the bedrock of the Assyrian economy and military, collapsed. Repeated crop failures led to famine and destabilized the population. This helped solve a key mystery: how the once invincible Assyrian army was suddenly defeated by smaller forces. An army can't march on an empty stomach, and an empire can't be sustained by dust. And Assyria's enemies were watching, waiting. As the empire weakened from within, its long-oppressed subjects and ambitious rivals saw their chance. Vassal states like Elam stopped paying tribute around 623 BCE, cutting off vital streams of revenue. Nomadic raiders, Cimmerians, and Scythians began attacking remote colonies, forcing an already strained military to fight on multiple fronts. Then came the coordinated death blow. In 626 BCE, the Babylonian general Nabopolassar launched a full-scale revolt, aiming to restore Babylonian independence. Shortly after, the Medes, led by their king Cyaxares, invaded from the mountains to the north. Trapped in a two-front war, reeling from civil war and environmental collapse, the Assyrian state began to disintegrate with terrifying speed. In 614 BCE, the invaders sacked Assur, the empire's ancient religious heart. This was a devastating psychological blow.
Just 2 years later, in 612, the grand capital of Nineveh, a city so massive it took a coalition of armies 3 months to conquer, was overrun and utterly destroyed. The last remnants of the Assyrian army fled west, making a final, desperate stand. They forged an alliance with Egypt, but fate twisted against them one last time. In 609 BCE, as Egyptian reinforcements marched north to help, King Josiah of the small kingdom of Judah blocked their path. The delay, though brief, may have been fatal for the Assyrian-Egyptian effort to retake the city of Haran. The final act played out in 605 BCE at the Battle of Carchemish. There, on the banks of the Euphrates, the last Assyrian soldiers and their Egyptian allies were decisively crushed by the Babylonians and Medes. Assyrian independence was extinguished forever. So the fall of Assyria wasn't a simple story of growing too big. It was a perfect storm, a cascade failure, where political instability, climate disaster, and opportunistic enemies converged at once. The entire collapse, from the first major revolt to the final battle, took just 20 years. It's a chilling lesson from history that even the mightiest empires are not immune to a sudden, fatal combination of crises.